All right, friends. Good evening once again, and here we are back for day 8 of our 40 days data analytics bootcamp. A very quick recap of what we have learned yesterday. We saw strings and the methods associated with strings in Python broadly. String, the way it has been indexed in the memory, both positive indices and negative indices. How to do slicing in the string, or maybe how to form its substring, correct? More importantly, how to access a particular letter or character of the string. Is it right? Fine. So this was all about what we learned yesterday. Let's move ahead today into the depth of sequences. The another data structure that we start is with list. Okay. So let's see what exactly is a list in Python. All right. First of all, list, it's much similar to array that is offered by other programming languages like C, C++ or Java. Okay, the only difference between array there and list here is you can store data in the list of any data type. Okay, that is in the list you can store integers also. At the same time, you can store string also, float also, boolean also. So it is not mandatory that list should contain data of all the same data type. It can contain data of any data type, all right, or many data types. Right? Further to add, for storing more than one values, we create this kind of data structures, that is list, tuple, dictionary, set, etc. All right. Next important point to be spoken about list. List is created inside a square bracket. I think we started with list shortly yesterday. Correct. To store multiple data in the same variable, like a list or a list data type, we create a list inside a square bracket. Fine. Good evening. Good evening, Darshan. Good evening, Parth, and even good evening, others who are here with us. Okay, fine. So here we go. All right. Take it. Let's create a list. Say x is equal to 10, 20, 30. Okay, and if I simply say print x. So this is what it prints. Correct. Okay, and if I want to print not only x but also the length of the list, so the same function that we used for string yesterday to check the length, we can use for list also to check its length, like length of x. Okay, so this time it will print the list along with the length of the list. Okay, let's check. Fine. And if you want to add some message in between, like x comma, okay, something like this. Let me give comma only. All right. So 10, 20, 30 is a list, and 3 is the length of the list. Three methods I introduced you yesterday, three methods to add data in the list. First is an append method. Since we were too fast yesterday in the end due to time constraint, let's repeat that part one more time. How to add an element in the list. First method to add element in the list is using x dot append. But remember, append always adds element towards or in the end of the list. So if I write 40, if 40 got added, x dot append 50. So 50 got added. Alright. You might have remembered, in fact, you all should have remembered how to add then multiple values in the list. So let us use the method this time extend. X dot extend. So multiple values, it must be enclosed in the square bracket as a list. Okay, say 60, 70, 60, 70, and 80. Of course, there is no limit how many more values you want to add. Along with this, you want to can add some string also. Say Mumbai. I'm sorry for that. Okay, fine. So here we go. Right? 10, 20, 30 was the list. 40 and 50 got appended in the end. 60, 70, 80 Mumbai also got appended in the end because extend function of list. Method means function. Even the extend function add values in the end of the list. The only difference is it adds multiple values. All right. Fine. So these are the three methods. How can we add the data in the list? Number one, append, extend. Okay. Third one is insert. Correct. So if I want to insert data after 10, okay. So that means at position number one. So let me write like this: x dot insert 1 comma 15. Let's check what happens. Is it right? So it takes in two argument. First is a position number or index number, and the second is a value at that index number which you want to insert. Is that correct? Fine. Okay. What if I want to insert between 30 and 40? So this is now 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me write 4. Say 35. Is that correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Check. I think I wrote 4. That's the reason it came up this way. Otherwise, the command is right. See, 35 got inserted at index number 4. Right? This is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Am I right? And this is number 4, and so on. All right. So the three methods to add data in the list: append, extend to add in the end, append adds single value, extend adds multiple value, insert is to add an element at a specific position. All right. Similarly, if I want to delete an element from the list, okay, I think my list is same now. Okay, let us make the list this way. New list: 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. After that, A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C. I realize I don't want C anymore. First of all, print text, friends, print it. So I say print the list. Okay, so I don't want C. So let me write like this: x dot pop. Pop. Pop is to remove the last element of the list. Okay, fine. C is gone. Again, if I run the same code, so B is gone. I didn't run. Okay, that means again C is gone. Because again and again we are executing the same thing, right? Alright, now if I want to remove 90, so there are two ways. Either you give an index number of 90, okay, because I can give index number of the element also using pop. I prefer to give the index number from reverse order because it is easy to count. So this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Right. So let me write minus 5. And this. Okay. Minus 5 means 90 is gone. Alright. Fine. Similarly, if I write just 5, index number 5, that means element number 6, 60 should be gone. Right? 60 is no more. 60 is gone. Okay. Another method to remove any element from the list, if you have remembered any element from the list. So who will remember these elements by their indices? It's difficult to remember them. This example I gave you yesterday. Say in a classroom of 100 students, very difficult to remember students by roll number rather than by their names. correct? So I want to remove, say, 70. So it's very easy to write the value 70 here rather than counting the index number of 70, right? But that can't be done by pop because pop deletes element by index, whereas remove deletes element by value, correct? Remove deletes element by value. So let me say remove, home to remove 70, and it's gone. All right, 70 is gone. The list is coming again and again back because I'm running this entire code. Okay, so the X is getting reinitialized to the same list every time I say run. Similarly, like 70, if I want to remove 100, or let me say A, because A is a string or character, it needs to be enclosed in an inverted quote. Print X. All right, so 70 is gone as well as A is gone. All right, fine. Okay, let me come to the chat box in case if there is any question. All right, good, fine. Thank you so much for that. Stop me in between for what is not understood. Right, let's take another list. Come on, let's take another list. Okay, I come to this cell. Okay, here we go. Say x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 44, 33, 22. I print x. Run this. But now I realize the list should be sorted in ascending order. Okay, list should be sorted in ascending order. So how can I do that? X dot sort. Okay, simply x dot sort. Check what happens. Okay, after that we have to print x again because x is now sorted. Is that correct? So this is list has been sorted. One, 2, 3, and after 3 not 44, 22, 33, and 44. All right, fine. Now when you sort the list, it becomes very easy to understand or to print who will be the smallest element of the list and who will be the largest. Am I right? After sorting, because by default it sorts in ascending order. There's no way we can force it to do in descending order. For that, we have to write our own code or create our own function. All right. If the data is sorted in ascending order, definitely the first element will be the smallest and the last element will be the greatest. So we can, after sorting, we can make it to print. Print smallest element is x of 0, right? And print largest largest element is, how to write the last index, we don't know the last index number, correct? So there is one way you can write it this way: len of x. This is one way, means the length of the list. If the total length of the list is 10, last index number will be 1 minus of it, correct? Or if the total length of the list is 25, the last index number will be 24. Friends, understanding or not? The total length of the list is 500, so the last element will be 499. Correct. If you don't understand this expression, no problem. You can also access last element by writing minus 1. Understood? Because minus 1 in the reverse order is the last element. Okay. First element in the reverse order is the last element. Correct. Let's check. So smallest element is 1 and the largest element is 44. Am I right? Fine. Okay. Another one. Let's take two list. Okay. Say x is 1 to 3 and y is 4, 5, 6. I take z, which is x plus y. Let's check whether it is possible also or not. Print z. Okay, I printed x, it should be print z. Right? That means this is how the two list can be added, right? You could have done this way also. Check. Instead of writing y here, directly the list like 5, 7, 9, something like that. All right. So this is a new list 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. This is the two list, how the two lists are concatenated or how they can be joined to become one list. Fine. What if I write like this? What if I write like this? Say I is equal to x into 2. Print I, of course. Okay. Or let me work in a new cell. Fine. I work here in new cell. Say x is equal to 1, 2, 3. I say print x into 2. Alright. That means the list has been shown two times. Okay. The list replicate two times. If I write x into 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means the list itself replicates three times. You can multiply list with an integer like we did yesterday with the string, but you can't do like this. This will be wrong. X into y, that's wrong. Right? It's of non-integer data type. Alright, you cannot multiply. Look the error here. You can't multiply sequence by any non-integer data type. Fine. So list can be multiplied to replicate by some number. List cannot be multiplied by another list. Of course, list can be added with another list. That's altogether a different story. Fine. Okay, let me show you one more thing. Come on, I show you another thing. Okay, see here. Sorry, I want to insert a cell below, which can be done. Say x is equal to 10, 20, 30. I say x dot copy and we store it in y. Okay, so copy is another list function. All right, it's a method provided by list copy. It simply copies a list and return the copied list. I repeat, the function or a method copy, it copies an entire list and it returns the copied list which we have stored in y. So now if I print y, it is nothing but just same to x, right? You want, you can print both x also and y also, right? So these are the two different lists, but copied. Of course, they have been copied by the same, copied with the same values. Hoping you understand, right? So multiplication of the list, addition of the list, how to copy the two list. Am I right? How to copy the two list, how to add elements in the list, how to remove elements in the list, how to update a particular element of the list. For example, I never wanted the last value in the list as 30. I wanted it to be 300. Right? So how to do that? Say I don't want to do all this. Remove this. X of 2 because 30 is at index number 2, correct? I repeat 30 in the list X is at index number 2. So x of 2 is equal to 300. Then say print x. Print x. Okay, so it got updated. All right. Hoping you understand, right? Fine. Pausing here for a moment in case if you have any question to ask. Sure. Any doubt? Would be glad if someone could answer in the chat section. Understood. Thank you so much for that. Okay, then let's write some loop based programs upon list. Okay, how we can use for loops upon list. I repeat my point again. How can we use for loop upon list? Check it out. This is my okay. Say this is a list. Okay, I want to add all the elements of this list. Say 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. I want to add all the elements of the list. Okay, now this is where actually for loops are used in Python. That is for iterating over the sequences. That means iterating over list, iterating over set, iterating over dictionaries and tuples. Understood. Otherwise, iteration can be achieved using while statement as well. So check it out. For I in X. Now, who is X? X is a list. When you write for I in X, the first value of I in X is 10. Am I right? Mind you, you can see one thing here, there is no range function we have used. Correct? We haven't used any range function. Of course, we don't need also the range function because we are iterating not in a range of values. We are iterating inside the sequence or inside the data structure of the memory. Correct? So for I in X, the first value of I will be 10. Okay, what I do is let me first print simply these values. Print I. Okay, all right, let me give you the dry run for this. Let's run the program quickly. Okay, so the individual elements have been written this way, correct? Let's have a quick look how it is working. With the help of that dry run, have a quick look. Notepad. Okay, this is our code. Tick. Loop number one. This is not executing. This is just a dry run. Means what is happening behind the screen when the program execute. In loop number I, loop number one. That means when the for loop start. First value of I in X is 10. It has to iterate sequence in the sequence orderly. That means in order, one after another. Okay, so in loop number one, I is equal to 10. What is the instruction? Print I. So 10 got printed. All right, come on. For loop iterates in loop number two. Correct. In the second loop, loop number two, I will take a hop and it will go from 10 to 20. So I is now 20. Understood? So 20 will be printed. Similarly, in loop number three, I has slided one more element ahead. Correct? This is sliding, people. How the windows slide. Hoping you understand. Right? So I has slided from 20 to 30. Slide. All right. Is 30 the end of list? No. That means the list still continues. So I will be printed. Okay. In the next loop, that is loop number four. Let me first write it. This is loop number three. I is 30. 30 is printed. Correct. In loop number four, hurry up. I will slide from 30 to 40. I will slide from 30 and it goes to become 40. So 40 will be printed. And in loop number 5, I slides from 40 to 50. So value of I in loop number 5 is 50. It is still not the end of list. So 50 will be printed. Loop number 6. Come on, loop number 6. I has no value to take over. That means it has reached the end of list. Correct? 50 के बाद कोई नहीं है तो I को लेने के लिए कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं है. Am I right? That means you have reached the end of the list. That's a condition for loop to terminate and come out. Is that clear? That's the reason this is how it is printed. Suppose if you want to print 10, 20, 30, 40 all on the same line like this. Right? The different values are printed on a different line. So all that you have to do is in the print statement, write end is equals to space. That means the default end character is enter key. Understood? Print statement always end the line with an enter key by default. But if you write space, so print will be made to end with a space in the end. All right. Don't know how many of you understood. I repeat for one more time. By default, print statement always ends with a new line character or an enter key. By default, after printing a line, it by default on automatically goes to the next line. All right, we don't have to give instruction. That is default coded in it by the developers of Python. But if you don't want print to end with a new line, you want print to end with a space. So this is how you can give the syntax check. Is that clear? So because print ended with space, the next print continued the line of output. Is that clear? Fine. All right. Coming here and pausing in case if anyone has any question to ask. No doubt. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Jitesh. All right. What if you want to add half of the list? Okay. If you want to add half of the list, so you have to write like this. Okay. For I in I. Okay. In X. All right. X divided by 2. Let me say like this. Range 0 to length of X. Here we have to write not I but X of I. Let's check it works or not. Okay. So let me take this operator outside. Say C is equal to length of X divided by 2. Let me put this part in comment for a time being, or let me get rid of it. Print C. I'm writing LEX. It should be LEL. Was the same thing I was doing in the list? Okay, 2.5. So let's take a floor value because we cannot travel 2.5 element, right? Half of the list will be either 2 or 3. Correct. So let's take a floor value. This should work. So like this. I think it is working. That means only till 10 and 20. What if I have one more element here? That is 16. So 10, 20, 30. What if I have two more elements here? That is 70 and 80. It's working till 40. Exactly what am I doing? See, this time I'm using the range function. Starting from 0. What is 0? That is index number. Starting from 0 to length of the list divided by 2. Now suppose if the length of the list is 8, divide by 2 means what? 4. Is that correct? So starting from 0, let me give you the dry run. How will it work? Okay, how would it work? Let me give you the dry run quick. Take it for example. For example, say this is the list. X is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now what is length of x? 8. Length of x divided by 2 means 4. So basically this is a range function from 0 to 4. Am I right? If you write 0 to 4, it will actually travel only till 3. And that's what we want. Correct? Because 1 less, 0 to 3 will make total 4. Parth, are you understanding? Correct. So for I in range 0, so what will be the first value of I? Tell me. In loop number 1, what will be the first value of I? I will take the value 0. Am I right? This time, because I have written range, understood? And we haven't written just x here, correct? Since we have written range, so we can't write I, we have to write x of I. Means, what is I? I is 0. So x of 0 will be 1 in this case. So 1 will be printed. Okay. Similarly, in loop number 2, what will happen? Loop number 2, I will be 1 because 0 to 4. Now, after 0, the next value of I will be 1. Am I right? The next value of I will be 1. And what is x of 1? That is 2. So 2 will be printed. Correct? In loop number 3, 0, 1. Next value will be 2. What is x of 2? X of 2 means third element. 0, 1, 2. So 3 will be printed. Am I right? In loop number 4, I will become 3. Am I right? Because 0, 0 के बाद 1, 1 के बाद 2, 2 के बाद 3, 3 is still less than 4. Condition is true. So x of 3 will be printed. X of 3 means element number 4. Who is element number 4? 4 itself. Right. In the next loop, that is loop number 5, I will become 4, and 4 will not be less than 4. Correct? 4 is equal to 4. So we have to come out of the range function. Hoping you are understanding. Is that clear? Right, so we are traveling from index number 0. Parth, I think Parth asked me this question. Traveling from index number 0 till half of the list means length of the list, complete length divided by 2. We are taking floor value because we cannot travel till 2.5 element or 1.5 element. It should be either 1 or 2. Please acknowledge. Is that clear? Once you acknowledge, I'll go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Others, please raise your question. I would be glad to answer you if it's under my knowledge. Okay, I think it's 6:35. We need to speed up because I don't want to keep any topic from today's class to be pending for tomorrow. Right now, what is my next question? What if I want to add all the values present in this list? For example, like this. For example, say x is equal to 1, 4, 3, again 1, and 2. Right, so what should be the final answer? 1 plus 4, that is 5. 5 plus 3, that means 8. 8 plus 1, that means 9. And 9 plus 2, that means 11. So the sum of all the elements in the list is 11. Okay? Print sum of all the elements in the list. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's take one variable sum and initialize it value of 0. Okay, run the for loop on x now. So for I in x, remember we have used directly the list name. We have not used the range function. Alright, if you use range function, that means you're traveling across indices of the list. And if you use directly the list name, means you're referring the value inside the list directly. For I in x, so what will be the first value of I in x? That is 1. What to do? Sum is equal to sum plus I. Alright, fine. Let's take a dry run of this. Come on, how will it work? Control C, Control V. Okay. For I in x, in loop number 1, come on, loop number 1, what is the value of I? 1. Okay. So sum is equal to sum plus. What's the current value of sum? 0. This is self addition in self, the variable itself, correct? So sum is equals to 0 plus, because sum is 0 right now, 0 plus I. Whose I? I is 1. That means sum is equal to 1. The updated value of sum is 1. In loop number 2, the next value of I is 4, correct? So in loop number 2, I in x is 4. Sum is equals to sum plus. But what is the present value of sum now? It's 1. So 1 plus, who is I in the second loop? 4. That means it becomes 5. Correct. So sum is now 5. Remember that. In loop number 3, the third value of I in x is 3. So sum is equal to sum plus I. That means current sum is 5. 5 plus I, that is 3, equivalent to 8. Right. Come on. In loop number 4, what is the value of I in x in the fourth loop? That's 1. So it's 1. So sum is equals to, what is the current sum? 8 plus addition in the variable itself. The variable sum is updating itself with new values of I or the next value of I. Correct? Sum plus I. Who is I? I is 1. I hope Darshan, if you are here with us, you are understanding. दर्शन आप हमारे साथ है यहाँ पर तो आप भी समझ रहे हो. 8 plus 1, that's 9. Chalo, in loop number 5, what is the fifth value of I? That is 2. So in loop number 5, value of I will be 2. So sum will update itself as present sum plus the current I. 2, that's nothing but 11. So finally, when we come out of for loop, sum will be having updated value as 11. Correct? Let's check. It is happening also about run. You know one thing, I haven't printed anything, so there is no output. So you can say, see, there are two ways now. If you say print sum, you're directly in the loop. So you will be shown 11 with all the other intermediate results, correct? No, why to show how sum became 11? That means in the first loop, sum became 1, then it became 5, then it became 8, then it became 9, then it became 11. No, we just want to show the final value of the sum. So keep this statement print sum outside the for. That means only the final sum should be displayed. So if I say run, sum is 11. Correct? Please acknowledge if this story clear or not. Jitesh, Parth, Neha, Darshan, addition of all the elements in the list. Is that clear? If you really understood, if you have really understood, thank you, fine. If you have really understood, then take it as a homework. You have to find out all the elements who are even numbers in the list and who are odd numbers in the list. See, I'm posting this question here in the chat box. Okay, thank you, everyone who are answering. Okay, find out numbers from the list who are even, odd, as well as prime. Okay, keep it as a homework to be done. Numbers who are even, numbers who are odd, and numbers who are prime. Thank you, Neha, Jitesh, Pat. All those who have acknowledged here, thank you very much. Okay, fine. Okay, let's quickly come back here. This was all about the list, although I'm going to give you a lot of questions on list to be practiced as a self-practice assignment. Okay, this will make our logic more clear, or even better. All right. Like list, we have another data structure called as set. Just a moment. There is some distraction. I'm sorry for that. Just a moment. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Fine. Sorry for that. All right. Let's take another data structure, that is set. First of all, try to understand one thing. Sets are people ordered data structure. All right. Now, what do you mean by that? One. I'm talking about set, right? Okay, 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 okay. Here we go. There's something wrong here. Okay, all fine, please. Coming back to the point. Sets are, or I'm sorry, not ordered. Sets are unordered data structure. Now, what do you mean by unordered? Check it out. Point number one, after unordered, say A is a set. Sets are not created inside the square bracket. Set is created inside the curly bracket. Okay. So first element of the set is cat. Second element in the set is cow. So if I say run, or let me say print A, run, cat and cow. All right, fine. To your surprise, if I write like this does not make any sense and it gives me an error because set is unordered. You got my point? It doesn't make sense whether you write cow first or cat first. Means data in the set, ordering of data in the set does not make any sense. Therefore, it has no indices or index numbers. Alright, say the set of fruit apple, mango, banana. But if I write apple, mango, banana, or if I shuffle it to banana, mango, apple, so the ordering is not important in set. And because ordering is not important, the set have no indices or index numbers. Is that clear? Set is an unordered data structure. Ordering is not important. Therefore, it maintains no index number. You cannot access element of set using an indices. Is that clear? Fine. Okay, so let's see how can we do that. I remove this. I just print A. How to run a for loop over set. Simple. Let's write like this. For I in A, print I. So first I in A is cat. Cat got printed. Second I in A is cow. Cow got printed. Of course, you can add a new element in set. Okay, you can add a new element in set like this. Say A dot add. All right, simply add. Append, extend doesn't work here. It doesn't make sense, in fact. What do you mean by in the end? Am I right? Suppose I add dog and I print A. All right. I add giraffe, and I print A again. Or let me print it in the end. One time. That means you could see one thing. See, giraffe is shown as a third item. Are you understanding? This is without any reason. In fact, you don't have to go into the depth to find out the reason why. For me, it is showing third one. To some of you, it might show you the first element of the set also. That's all up to Python. How does it fashion it? Clear? There is no specific algorithm behind it, and you need not to know also because it has no meaning implemented in use. All right, it's unnecessary to know that. Clear? So cat, cow, giraffe. Next time, it's possible for someone to get giraffe as a second element. That's the reason if somebody would write A of 1, for me it is cow, but for someone it could be cat, for somebody else it could be dog, hence it has no index number. All right. Right. One more strange thing about set is what like for about all these. Let me keep this added here. Okay. So dog, and I say dog again. And A. Okay, you see you added dog two times, but it has shown you only one. Means no duplicate entries are allowed. Set contain always unique data. Okay, set always contains the unique data. There are no duplicate entries which will be entertained in the set. Whereas this was allowed in the list, am I right? If you check it out, if A or B is a list, say 1, 2, 3, 3, or 4, 4, 4, 4, and 5. Say print B, all these fours have been considered. But if I convert B also into a set, and then I say print B, sorry, all the four have been reduced to only one four. All right, so set doesn't allow any non-unique data or redundant values. That's repeating values. Is that clear? So add is a function of set to add a value in it. Like add, set also has another function called as remove. Okay, say I don't know all this. Say I want to remove cow from this list, for example. Okay, so I can say a dot remove cow. Check the list now. Okay, I think I need to print. So print a, that will print cat and dog. All right. Fine. So add is to add an element, remove is to remove an element. There are specific operations that we can perform using set. For example, a is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and b is equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. If you want to display A union B, for those of my friends who have ever remembered these set operations, okay, set operations, which we might have done during our schoolings or even in your undergraduation. Okay, A dot union B means everything that is there in A as well as that is there in B. It will be a superset, correct? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and because 4, 5, 6 is repeated two times and set can show only distinct data, means unique data. In the union, it has shown just once, correct? Fine. Like union, we also have a function called as intersection. If I say A intersection B, what do you mean by intersection? Any idea? Can you write the answer in the chat box first or in the comment section? Yeah, common elements only. Okay, we can't slice through set. No, not exactly part. We cannot do slicing on the set. And I think, in my opinion, you won't ever require to slice the set. Okay, set is a very simple data structure. There's hardly any need to slice over it. Very good question, but although it is not possible. Okay, common element only. Yes, the one which is common. So who is common by the way here? Who is common? 4, 5, 6 is common between the two elements. So that's an intersection point, right? 4, 5, and 6. That is printed. Okay. This way we can also print difference between the two set. Okay. So A difference B. That means it's almost equal to right. Somebody could write like this: A minus B. All right, what's there in A but not in B? Am I right? Can you tell me the answer? What's there in A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is in A. 4, 5, 6 is in B also, but 7, 8, 9 is not. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, A minus B. Am I right? What's there in A? 1, 2, 3 is not in B. Right. 7, 8, 9 would be the answer if I do B minus A. Right? B minus A. That means what's there in B and not in A? 7, 8, and 9. Check it out. So B difference with A. Right. So what's there in B and not in A? 7, 8, 9. A minus B, what's there in A but not in B? Hoping you are understanding. Full concept clear to me. So we have union, we have intersection, we have difference of the two sets. These are the different set operations. All right. How to run for loop over set. Hope you have understood that too. All right. Fine. We have another data structure in Python called as tuple. Dictionary I won't do with you today since time won't suffice. I have 7 p.m. sharp connected class. Okay, so dictionary we will keep it to be done for tomorrow. It will take a little time. All right, fine. We have another data structure called as tuples, people. tuples. Hash tuples. Okay. First of all, tuples are ordered. That means they have index number. Okay. So like this, t is equal to. Is that clear? Tuples are created inside the round bracket, not curly bracket like set, not square bracket like list, but round bracket. So if I write like this 10, 20, 30, print t, you could have created by any name XYZ. I use t. So this is 10, 20, 30. What if I put duplicate values? So 32 times. Alright, that means it allows duplicate values. Of course, it should allow because if it is ordered, we can access two 30s by their index number. Am I right? Like this. Say print t of 1. Okay, or t of 0. Who is that? 10. Am I right? T of 1, that is 20. Earth your question now. If you want to print from 1 to 3, so that is 20 and 30. Okay. What if I want to print from 1 to 4? So 20, 30, 30. Hoping you are understanding. Clear till here. Fine. So that means slicing can be done because the tuples have an index number. Right? Now, suppose if I want to change this value 10, or let me say the last 30. Who's that? 4, right? Not 4, I'm sorry. 3, I should write it. 3. Right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Right? If I want to change t of 3 from 30 to say 40, that means reassignment. It says sorry. Tuple does not support item assignment or item reassignment. That is what is tuple for. You got my point? It cannot be changed, people. Immutable. Understood? Tuple is immutable. That means it cannot be changed. Once the data is entered, it cannot be changed. Mostly inside the tuple, we store historical data. Okay, for example, rainfall received in all the 12 months last year. So the rainfall received last year is a historical data today. How can it be updated in 2023? The rainfall measurement of 2022. Is that clear? Fine. BCom or BSc result of Mumbai University of the year 2015. And the 2015's passing percentage, failing percentage are all historical data today. If the passing percentage of people in 2015 passing percentage of the people, if it is 75%, how can it be updated to 85% today? Am I right? So most of the time, data that we store inside the tuple is this kind of historical data, which is guaranteed never to change. All right. Believe me, if tuple was a list, if this was a list here, check it out. Let me change it to list. Let me change it to list. You can definitely change it now. See, it's done. Print T. Print T. So T, the fourth element of T has been updated to 40. All right. Fine. That's all of the tuple, people. This is all what tuple can do. You cannot add a new element in the tuple. You can never delete an element in the tuple. You can not update any element in the tuple. Of course, there are other ways to do that. Like say this is a tuple. This is a tuple. Okay. Let me get rid of this part. Let me print this much first. What happened? Okay, syntax error. Right? This is a tuple. Say I want to add another element, 40 or 50. You first have to convert tuple to list because this won't work. T dot add. No, it can't work. A tuple has no attribute called as add, no attribute called as remove. So what can we do is, come back. Okay, let's take T1 is equals to convert 10 20, 30, and or let me say like this, T. Okay. What did I do? I convert T into list. This is called as type conversion. Okay, we can convert the data type of any variable into some other data type. Okay, so T was a tuple whose data type I now converted to list. Check it out first. Say type of T before converting to list and type of T after converting it into list. I think I should print it. Print, print. Okay, T1, guys, T1. Is that correct? Fine. So type of T is tuple, but type of T1 is list. Once you have converted list into tuple, where am I? I should be here. So let's get rid of these statements. Unnecessarily too confusing. Get rid. Okay, once you have converted, now you want, you can say T1 dot add, say 40, not add, let me say append. Because list uses either append or extend or insert, right? So 40 is added. Now you can convert it back into tuple. How to do that? Say T1 is equal to tuple T1. Let's convert T1 into tuple and store it in T1 again. You can use any variable T1, T2, T3. I'm using same. That means override. So now if I print T1, it's a tuple. Alright, so directly you cannot add any element in a tuple. You cannot remove any element from the tuple. You have to first convert tuple into either set or maybe into a list, and then use the functions whichever operable like add or append, and then reconvert it back to tuple. All right, getting my point. Fine. So we have seen today the concept of list. We learned today what are set and set functions, set operations like union, intersection. We learned today the concept of tuples. I gave you the reason why the data in tuple is mostly not changeable or unchangeable, immutable. Is that clear? Fine. The concept of dictionary we will learn tomorrow sharp at 6 p.m. The lecture shall begin. All right, fine. Okay, so putting it all together, starting from list, add, insert, append. I'm sorry, append, insert, and extend are the three functions to add. Pop and remove to remove the data, delete the data. Am I right? Similarly, to delete any element from the set we have removed, add a new element in the set we have added. Okay, for tuple, the data cannot be added or deleted or updated. This can be done via converting into some other data types. All right, fine. Any specific question from your side? Something that you would like to ask? Very sure. Fine. Okay. I'm going to come up with very soon with lot of practice questions. Due to some time issues, I'm unable to find time to do that homework for myself. The moment I do it, I shall release it for you. All right. Fine. See you back tomorrow once again, sharp at 6 p.m. Till then, goodbye. And please do like our videos if you are benefiting out of it. Please invite your friends also to join all these free sessions, that is to benefit people outside for coding, data science, and all the future of the technologies that is being introduced today. Okay, like left join. Part I didn't get a point. Left join. Okay, you're talking in terms of fine, fine, fine. Okay, all right. Difference. Yep. Okay, you can say left join and right join. A minus B. Good. Good example. A minus B and B minus A. Good example. One could be left join, one could be considered as a right join. Although it's not a join, but you can relate somewhat the example to. Okay. Fine. Please keep practicing. Go beyond the scope of what we are learning. This is not the only part of set. Set can be explored much beyond what we are learning. Hmm? Please try to explore more self practice questions on your own. Okay. Please spread this message of the 40 days boot camp to your other friends also. Ask them to join. All right. Goodbye. Take care. See you back tomorrow. Till then, enjoy.